Now I can take anything and everything that I've learned and apply myself as a ninja. This concept in our ninjutsu system, it's my belief that my teacher told me that Sayaga, when he was in Japan, that during a very hard time that the ninja families were annihilated, and he was one of the only survivors. And of course he fled, and him being a survivor, really it meant a lot to him that these traditions pass on, and he taught it to Koreans. Now as for the lineage coming all the way down to me, you know what, just like you said, I could make up names, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you one thing. His name is Lee Sung-kyung. If you want his picture, go to South Korea. There's a place called Yongin University. And my master, his name is Sung-kyung Lee, and you have pictures there. He's an alumni of Yongin University. Mr. Lee, my master, lived in Montana and also here in California, and he picked only a few people to teach this, and I am one of them. Now I want to get into the last part of ninjutsu, the way it's taught to me. I want you guys to understand ninjutsu at its highest point is understanding spiritualism. A lot of the things are connected to Shinto and Buddhism, and they understand that the real supernatural powers comes from the spiritual realm. Ninjas are known to use spiritual realms to terrify, horrify their opponents, not only in the woods, but also cast spells and make people dream things. And if you guys don't believe in demon possessions and tapping into the darker spirits, believe me, it does exist, and that's real ninjutsu, the way it was taught to me. And that's why I also became a Christian, because although this may not be relevant as of the history of ninjutsu, this is very important and relevant to me. I have seen what just the name of Jesus Christ does under spiritual conditions where people were dealing with blood and Kuji-ins and Kuji-kiris. And when the name Jesus was dropped, I saw how it devastated everything. So that's another irrelevant factor to the ninjutsu, but for me it really opened my eyes to who the true God is. Now Anthony, because I got into the spiritual aspect of it, I'm sure a lot of people are going to freak out, or they're not going to like what I just said. But you tell me, Anthony, am I, or is my teacher lying to me? And the things that I've said to you, if it doesn't make any sense, please tell me. And explain to me why everything I've said is not correct and my teacher didn't teach me correctly. I want you to tell me, because I got nothing more to offer you other than my physical knowledge and experience of the martial arts that I teach. And I'm going to do this and call it ninjutsu, because ninjutsu is a mixed martial arts, and we take everything that works and apply it for preparation and survival. This is ninjutsu spirit, and this is the spirit of a Chosonninja. Thank you very much.
You say you go through your skills, but you do not mention at all yonin and innin. Okay? Now to everyone else, that's infiltration at night or disguise during the day. So please clarify, do you or do you not have the Koka curriculum for innin, yonin? That's infiltration and disguise. Do you or do you not? So what I'm going to do is, Greg gave us loads of information there, yeah, and it was overly than what I asked for, and it went into different realms, so it could be confusing to some. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually now list the curriculum parts that Greg has said, okay? Now Greg, What I've done is I've cross-referenced it with lots of my manuals that I've got and the stuff we translated, and I've come up with what's not on your curriculum. Can you please, so again in your favour, can you please clarify you do not have these and these have left your school? Okay, Greg went through lots of things there, and to be blunt, you have to either believe what he says or not believe it. That's as far as it goes there. But the argument is he could research that. So that was what, not how. So the point we're going to do is how. Okay, Greg goes into spirituality. He talks about the spirituality of the ninja. This is again a middle ground. I want to tell you that Kujin is not a ninja thing. It was used by the ninja, but it was more, everybody who was into that used it. Spells. Greg is semi-correct on spells, but not 100%. The Bansen Shukai clearly states ninjutsu is not a magical element. However, the Shoninki also says there is nothing magical, but they do have magical points within it. The magical points are spells to try and change people's minds and protection. So also for protection, okay? So what he said was not incorrect, but it's not correct. Now, every ninja would have a rope and a knife. Now, the Sengoku period, everybody had a sword. Dean, again, can you do a double check for me? There's a festival in Japan what is still goes on today where people are, young boys are ceremoniously given a sword. This was from when they came of age and they could carry a sword. The reason that they banned the peasants from having weapons is because everyone had a sword. So the fact that, Greg, you are saying people ran around with a rope and a knife, what about the big katana at the side? Scrolls, ninja scrolls are in code. This is totally incorrect, I'm afraid, Greg. They are cryptic, and don't get mistaken with etymology of cryptology, okay? They are cryptic in their language. If they were in code, Greg, it would be impossible for me to have read the Bansen Shukai, the Nippiden, the Shoninki, I'm not going to tell you them scrolls. It would be impossible for me to have read these, and it would also be impossible for me to publish them, which I am doing. So what Greg is actually meaning here is that there are oral traditions, and it will state in the manual, this is an oral tradition. Here is the title, oral tradition. Or it will say, give a memory hook of type of things. So he's semi-correct in one point where somebody would look at it and not be 100%, but mostly you could read it and say, oh, okay, but that's secret, so, or it'll say, remember this. Okay, and back to my all-time favourite, the bloody martial arts. Greg, I'm sorry, my friend, I totally disagree here. There is zero evidence about martial arts in ninjutsu, none, and you even say Hatsumi brings it. So you said the spirit of ninjutsu is to bring martial arts to you. Incorrect. I am sorry, it is not true. By that logic, cage fighters can break into castles because they're mixed martial artists. No. Ninja were professional warriors of the warrior class. Peasants were also used as professional ashigaru sometimes. They were hired as army and they became mercenaries. You've got to get away from this class structure of the Edo period. We're into the Sengoku period. It's totally different. You go out there, you're a farmer, but you're called up to war because there's war on. And if you just throw down your plough and put swords on and you become samurai, you become of the Bushi class, you go out. The Bushi class starts here and ends there like in European stuff, okay? So that's not correct. Now I understand what you're saying, this, you're carrying the spirit of ninja on, but please admit it is the spirit of a modern idea by you and others, not a historical fact. Historical fact is that in one manual it says you need to disguise yourself or move around in samurai, then you must learn the martial arts to pass off.